like 35,000 times. And then you're like, whoa. So if it didn't record the beginning, I might have to redo that dance. I know that that's going to make it big on TikTok soon. So yeah, if you guys want to put, you can give me raspberries. Yes. If you want to throw tomatoes, raspberries, all the things, there's no rules here, but just know that this is not medical advice. And also that at the end of the show, in the notes, in this seriously funny endeavor, there will be resources to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and various resources for anyone who might be struggling with mental health issues. And there'll be show notes, and you'll be able to know, like, you know, where you can find your weighted blankets and all the good things. Great to see you, and hello to Venice. Okay, redo the dance. I think I just have to do the dance on TikTok. I think that's the thing. All right, and so I'm looking in the chat box, and I think it says, wow, you look like you're gonna be the next Sarah Silverman. Like you're like a cross between Sarah Silverman and Sandra Bullock. Oh, that's so nice. Jamu, did
Dr.
you see
Kris?
that? Yeah?
Yeah, I don't actually see that in the chat.
Are you sure? You don't think someone said that I look like Sarah Silverman and Sandra Bullock?
No, I don't think it's there. Sorry.
Ah, man. Oh, wait, what about this one? It says you're like the new Carol Burnett, and like you write good jokes like Dan Levy. Is that one? Am I seeing that correctly? Have I had too much kombucha?
Maybe a little too much kombucha. Yeah, I don't see that one either.
Oh no. Okay, all right, I'm cracking up already. Okay, so all right, I do look like Sandra and I sound like Sarah. Okay, see, Jill, thank you very much. All right, I'm fishing over here, fishing hard. I think it was, no, there was no tequila. I did not have tequila, you guys, come on. All right, so cheers to you. I thank you. And so hopefully you know the logistics, keep an eye on the chat room. And at the end of the show, there will be a chance to dance together and come on after our question and answer period. So I think it's time to get started. So I don't know if you guys have heard this, but lately everyone's like, oh, we're about to get back to normal. Like it's gonna be normal really soon. And I'm like, the only normal is like a washing machine setting. Like there's no normal. And I feel like the people who talk about normal are the same people that say, everything's gonna be fine, everything's gonna be all right. Just sit back, take a nice deep breath. Just be nice and zen. So I'm like, and I'm trying to get zen. I'm like, okay, am I doing something wrong? And then I'm like the Dalai trauma. I can't handle COVID. I can't handle it. So what do we do, right? So I'm like, okay, step back. The breathing's not working. I'm gonna go to a place of infinite wonder and wisdom and evidence-based strategies. I'm a human resilience researcher. I like science. I'm like, I'm gonna go to a very uplifting place where I can find all of the most profound information of all. So I go to Facebook and I'm like, and then I see a meme and it says, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Oh, isn't that profound? And I'm like, do they not understand that the lemons aren't just bitter or sour, or there's not any sugar on the shelves, or that some of us don't even have clean water to mix with the lemons? These COVID lemons are awful. And a lot of us have been sucking these lemons long before COVID. We got sickness, trauma, loss. These are tough lemons. Polarization, heartbreak, poverty, racism. We're worried about our kids. And we are lonely. They say loneliness is the new smoking. So these weren't just lemons that appeared magically, like the murder hornet lemons of COVID coming in March. A lot of us were sucking on these lemons for a long time, and they're bitter and they're sour and they're poisonous and it's hard. So it's not working. It's not working to go to Facebook and get these little memes. So I decide I got to figure this whole lemon thing out. I'm going to call my friend. And she's like one of those disproportionately optimistic people. Her name's Polly Anna. So I call her up and I'm like sitting there with my lemon juice. And she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? How's it going? You're never going to believe it. I just lost 20 pounds on this new lemon diet. And wait for it, I just discovered that my Instacart driver is my soulmate. Oh. And do you remember that little idea that I had about yoga pants for people who don't do yoga? Well, I just found myself an angel investor. And I'm like, and she's like, you should cheer up. You know, you got to relax a little bit. Maybe you should like go make banana bread with bananas if you don't like to make lemonade. So I'm like, all right, who else can I call? Then I call my great friend, Georgia. I call my friend Geo. And Geo picks up the phone after like 4 rings. And Geo's got 3 different kinds of stage 4 cancer. Those are horrible mathematics. So she picks up the phone and tells me that she'd been in so much pain throughout the day that she was trying to get herself onto the floor to just stretch it out, to try to help relieve and alleviate what was going on. So she's telling me this and I'm starting to fill up. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she starts to giggle. And then she erupts into laughter and she has like a snort to her laugh. It's the best laugh ever. So she's snorting away and she's cracking up. And I realize the pucker she has to do, the only way to spit out that juice and the only way to let go of that pucker is to laugh. And I can't believe of all people, she's the one cracking up. So she doesn't crack up. And I feel like in my life, as a therapist at this moment in time, where I've studied resilience, I've been a psychotherapist for a long time. You know, there's always that whole thing is humor is a protective factor. And I think that really is, it's the one time, you know, because this juice is like, you know, right? We got to be able to spit it out. And you can't laugh with this in your mouth. You can't pucker, right? You got to spit it out. We can't laugh and pucker simultaneously. Whew, that's strong. Some strong lemons. None of us are going to get scurvy, that is for sure. So I want to hear about your lemons. I want to know what your lemons are like right now, because we got a lot of lemons to contend with, and we got to be able to not be frozen and resting pucker face. Was that an expletive? I was like, oh, pucker face. No resting pucker face. So I'm going to invite the one and only Katie Goodman and the one and only Dr. Kathleen Mackenzie up. We're going to, how's it going? We're going to get your COVID pulse. We're going to see what kinds of lemons you guys are sucking on right now. When they say life sucks, they're not joking, huh? Oh my gosh. Kate, oh, this is intense. Do not try this at home.
I thought you were gonna put water in it.
I was forewarned. This is legit. Like, this is like legit, like full bottle. Katie, I was thinking that it was like years ago that I met you, and I'm going through all the pictures, and then I'm like, It was March 2019.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't
No.
Less
long
than
ago.
a year, Kathy. Yeah.
And then yesterday I was like so nervous about the show. I had like a 1-day bout with IBS. I was like so scared. I was so nervous. So then I was like, last night I was like snuggling your book under my weighted blanket. And I was like, oh, I love her. Kathy, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I was warned about the lemon juice trick. So do you guys want to help me see where the audience is at with their COVID angst? How do you guys feel about that?
All right, let's do it.
All right, so Jamu, we're going to launch poll number 1. Drum roll. Good to see you too. Yes, no lemons were harmed in the making of this production. All right, take it away, Katie.
All right, which best describes your COVID angst? Number 1, my issues have issues. Am I reading the whole thing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Number 2, I miss my old 5-second rule ways. Oh, pick something up. I know. I wish you could just like do quick kiss. Number 3, I secretly hate my best friend who lost 10 pounds and found soulmate while I'm making a feast out of stale Cheetos and binge watching Schitt's Creek, which is exactly what I did in April.
Don't you hate when you get that cheesy residue? It's like we say we hate it, but do we really?
I'm so sad. I'm binging The Crown and like things from 2010. That's like how sad it's gotten over here. Okay. Number 4, I secretly hate my best friend. Oh, sorry, I just read that. Number 5, I am totally fine. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
You have 2 of the same one. Number 4 and
No, you got it.
3 are the same. Okay.
You got it. You got it. All right. So this is audience participation time. We want to get your pulse. So follow the cues for the poll, weigh in on where you're at, what kind of lemon juice you're sucking on right now. And we want to, so Katie and Kathy need to have your pulse so that they know the proper interventions for this evening. We'll give it a few more seconds.
So just click one of them. Number 3 and 4 are the same, so you can pick either of those.
I feel like we need some lemon music. There's 2 of the same in the poll, so add the results together. Okay, I'm getting Z input here. We look amazing. This is in the chat box for real. We look amazing. Good to see you. There's Kripalu reunions happening here. There's also a Worcester State reunion happening here. Shout out. And my mom is on the call. She dyed her hair blue. I was so happy.
What?
She looks like a Pixar character. She's so cute. Hi, Mom. All right. Couple more seconds. Looks like, wow. We're in a heat here. My issues have issues at 33%, and I am totally fine. Oh, they like our outfits. We planned this. I feel like there's like a lemon like painting behind you, Katie, and you have a yellow ring. You went full theme.
I did. Yes. This is my pandemic hobby. I just learned to paint.
I love it. Gio says she has cat hair on her bald head. So Gio is on the call. And that was another thing. She was laughing because she thought her hair was growing back and it was the cat hair. So this is her spirit. I love you, Gio. All right. So let's end this poll. We have 78% participation. Awesome job. Wow. All right. So I am totally fine. You guys are fine. You're going back to normal. Yay. Okay. Let's share the results. Oh, you did it already, Jamu. See, like, this is why. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go up to poll number 2 for Dr. Katmack. All right. So she's going to read the choices. You guys are all going to select, and then we'll move forward.
All right. So which best describes your COVID angst? The first one, if I ever slept through the night again, it won't be without at least one apocalyptic nightmare. Or 2, someone in my household is going to make unwanted noises or partially clothed appearances on Zoom work calls. Oh my goodness. The third one, pharmacist, keeps giving me side eye after filling my Xanax for the 3rd time this week.
Okay, I gotta say something about that, you guys. Like people in the East Coast do not know how to stockpile. which that's the goal. You got to go like 3 months worth of Xanax and having Anna, we know how to stockpile.
1-800 COVID meds.
Oh my goodness. And then the next one, I have repeated intrusive thoughts of leaving the house without any pants on. I almost left the house with no pants today. I was walking around, I was like, it's kind of breezy down there. What's going on?
Is it like a correlation, direct correlation by like amount of stress and like
Exactly.
proclivity to leave your pants off?
At least you're leaving the house. Like, where are you going?
I know, right? Yeah. So, and then the last one, that whole make lemonade thing isn't working anymore.
You guys check in on me tomorrow, okay? All right, audience, what's your hot take? How's your COVID angst? We need your pulse. If I could juggle, this would be a moment to do so. All right, we've got 83% weighing in here. What's going to be the winner? What's your prediction, guys?
I think the pants thing.
The pants.
I want to hear some of these dreams, these apocalypse, because I'm definitely having apocalyptic nightmares.
Like every day. Kathy got me a dream catcher because I'm like dream journaling. I'm like, oh
Well, you know, as a performer, you know how there's like the actor's nightmare where you don't know your lines and you're going on stage. My entire cast of my women's comedy troupe, we've all had the same dream, which is you get on your Zoom and you can't open your script that you're like sneaking peeks at. Like you're like, you can't do the technology. So it's like literally the same dream. It's just transferred, which I thought was kind of crazy that we all had the same dream.
So can I pretend that happened to me tonight if I bomb?
Yes.
All right. Wow. We had an overwhelming consensus that you guys aren't down with the whole lemonade thing. We need an updated metaphor, and that's what we're going to give you guys tonight. So thank you for your participation. We're going to end the poll, and thank you. Thank you. I think we should do a little contest. Let's do a little contest with Katie and Dr. Kathy. All right. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to interview you now just a bit because it does feel like in this time of COVID, like, you know, the DSM, the diagnostic manual was already like mammoth, and we were already the most obese, addicted, medicated group ever. The World Health Organization, for example, said by 2030 that lifestyle illness is going to surpass communicable disease. I'm like, where's the new stats now? Because we got catchy disease. We got all the issues now. Kathy, let's see that DSM. We got a walloping diagnostic thing here. So we got lots of diagnoses. That's big. That's a big book. I like big books and I cannot lie. All right. So, you know, I'm thinking about like all the issues before. Social anxiety was the fastest growing thing. Okay, now COVID's going to help that, right? Then we have regular depression, bipolar 1 and 2, dysthymia. We have third shift sleep disorder. We have like every kind of disorder du jour of all in our crazy world pre-COVID. So now I'm trying to figure out like what are going to be the diagnoses of 2021. So first, I just want to give props to everybody in the audience because you guys are already overcoming your chronic Zoom fatigue syndrome tonight. Good job, everybody. And you know, this is like marked by a persistent like urge to shout out something to your boss while unmuted, and like the fear that you're going to leave the house without pants. You know, there's a whole diagnosis coming just from the Zoom fatigue. Just wait for it. You saw it here first. But Katie and Dr. Kathy, I need your help. I need your help, and I want to see, comedian versus therapist, what your hot takes are on whether something was a pre-COVID diagnosis or post-COVID. All right, so here we go, pre-COVID or post-COVID diagnosis. And you guys can play along in the chat box if you want to. Okay. All right, so the first one is, maybe you can guess, maybe I can act this one out. Maskophobia. Just shout out your answers. COVID or pre-COVID? Pre-COVID or COVID?
COVID.
It's like it's COVID, but like we all immediately had it. So it's naturally in there.
I have a great mask to share with everyone when you're done.
Okay, good. All right, next one, social anxiety disorder, pre-COVID or post?
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. Our social skills are not the best, that's for sure. How about doom scrolling neurosis?
Oh yeah, COVID.
Although it's been for 4 years. So
Yes, there's a lot of doom scrolling.
That's a lot. I think it could go either way.
yeah.
All right, here's one for you. Antisocial telework induced social disorder.
Yeah, COVID.
Okay,
We need to keep that one, I'm sure, going forward though.
we will. All right, ready for this one?
Grandmother disorder, boomer disorder.
Selective mutism disorder.
Yes, selective mutism. Hey, selective mutism can work though. Use that for your Zoom
Yes.
fatigue if you need to. Be like, oh, my stuff's not working. Sorry, I don't need to sit through the 18th meeting today. Bye.
Exactly. Oh, can't hear you. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I think I lost you.
Bad connection. All right, how about, oh, wait. Do you guys think that I have tardive dyskinesia? Or is it just a bad internet connection? How about restless entire body syndrome? You got COVID or pre-COVID? It depends on the person.
Yeah, I was gonna say my kids have, yeah.
AKA ADHD with a lot of H. All right, how about Purell induced inhalant intoxication?
Yes, I was dealing with that today at work.
Woo!
It's like, woo, oh my goodness.
Strong, like the lemon concentrate.
Right
How
through,
about, sorry, go ahead.
right through my mask. I was like, oh my goodness.
How about people withdrawal?
People withdrawal?
Yeah.
Like withdrawing from people or withdrawal from
No,
having.
withdrawal. Like even like introverts right now. Don't you feel like even introverts are hungry for people?
Yeah,
Definitely.
but it seems like it's the other way too, because I'm a total extrovert and I'm like, I'm completely getting used to being an introvert. It's a little weird.
We're all going to be ambies at the end of this.
Yeah.
Ambiverts. We're going to need ambi and we're going to be ambiverts. All right, 2 more. Hypersexual.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Hypersexual during COVID.
The opposite though, when you've spent too much time with your partner.
Right? It's like,
Hey, Bo.
It all depends on the variables we all
Yeah.
contend with.
it depends on the variables. Because if you don't have a partner at home and you got to go
Oh, right.
out for your stuff.
Jill says, what's sex anymore? And Gio says, yes, please.
Sex deprivation syndrome. How about that one?
You heard it here first, guys. All
I
right,
have
and then,
one- oh, go ahead.
no, you.
I have one just to add, which is kind of similar to one of yours, which is I can't hear the kids asking for something. Selective hearing disorder.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good one. That can work for you. I like it. Do you have any other ones, Katie?
I just have one other, which is based on the fact that my teenager leaves his cereal bowl every single morning on the counter instead of in the dishwasher. And we're like, the whole the dishwasher thing has been making everybody crazy. So instead of getting really annoyed every single day, I've started taking pictures of it every single time. So this is the everything is art disorder. So I don't kill him.
Those Fruit Loops, the colors, the palette.
Exactly. Anything, if you turn it into art, then you won't lose your mind.
I love it. Good strategy. Love it. I think the comedian's coming through with some good strategies over here. Dr. Kathy, what do you have for your mask? You said you wanted to show us your mask.
So I don't know if this is fun or freaky. I
Hey,
put
it's all in the eye of the
I put
beholder.
it on at work and my boss told me, take that thing off. So,
Oh, is it you?
I think we need an audience vote on this.
It's like uncanny valley because it's just slightly skewed.
It's slightly skewed. I can't really like, here we go. There we go.
All right, you're getting a good reaction. I say, who cares what people think? Do you?
And then when I talk, it like freaks
Oh.
people out, right?
Hey, you know, we got to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, I used to work in elementary school. You know, you got to
Have all the props. You bet you absolutely do. All right. Well, thank you guys for helping me with that, because I think there's going to be a big task force out to try to decipher the mental health conditions of the now and the future. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full. So what if we do a Glad Libs together? Would you guys be up for that?
Definitely.
All right. And I'm also going to ask the audience, if you guys want to put anything in the chat box too, I'll look to the chat box. So let's start with Katie. I'll pop it to Kathy and then I'll go to the chat box. So I am looking for a large number, Katie Goodman.
52. That's my age.
Ooh, looking amazing.
Feels large.
All right. Love it. Kat, can you give me an exclamation?
An exclamation. Wow.
I like how you said that. All right, thank you. And then audience, I need a cute animal. Have you guys been seeing a lot of bunnies in COVID? I've seen so many little bunnies.
The
and
panda
squirrels.
cam is my new obsession.
Oh. Have you guys seen the otter? There's like a whole like otter account on, it's so cute with like the mama otter. All right, baby otters, see, we're like, it's like we planned that. Oh my gosh. All right. All right, Katie, a term of endearment, please.
Like schnookums, you mean?
Ooh, schnookums. Do I say it good in my Boston accent? Schnookums. Okay. All right, Kat, how about an infamous celebrity?
Oh my goodness. Lady Gaga.
Oh, yes. I live for the applause. Okay. Thank you. All right, audience, I need an adjective. Fabulous. Thank you, Adrienne. Fabulous. You look fabulous, darling. All right. A small number, Katie Goodman.
0 is not a number.
How about, can I do 0.01
Yes.
for added comedic effect? Thank you. Did I just break through the fourth wall? No, I didn't. Okay. And then, Kath, how about a positive adjective? Very kumbaya, please.
Very kumbaya.
Give us a positive adjective. Make us feel good, Dr.
Serene. How's that?
What was it?
Serene.
How about, give me another one.
Positive. Happy?
All right. I'm going to use both now. All right. You guys want to hear this Glad Lib? Thank you very much. All right, here we go. When COVID is over in 52 years, we are going to jump up and down and yell, holy wow, that was so freaking hard. The minute we see our friends again, we're going to hug them like they're baby otters and repeatedly affirm them with snookums and tell them that the weight they've gained will melt right off. And it doesn't matter because you're just so happy that they are alive and looking so much like a good version of Lady Gaga. People will look at us like we have microdosed some fabulous hallucinogens, but we will not be self-conscious at all, not even for a second, because we are so glad to be with people again. This elation will last about 0.01 seconds until we are back home again, fighting on our Facebook feeds or running around on that same crazy schedule that we said we'd never miss. And we've forgotten all of the happy and serene lessons of COVID. Give it up. Thank you, Katie and Kathy. Thank you, audience. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, so like I said, Katie, it's only been since 2019 since we met, and you are an epic light. I want to just give just a tiny backstory. And for anyone out there that has a friend that's like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. this was what Kathy was up to for me. She's like, you got to go to Kripalu. You're going to love it. It's so you. There's yoga classes. There's sound baths. There's labyrinths. Like they serve organic farm to table food. Like their specialty is like tree bark au gratin with microgreens. Like you got to go. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. Like my friend Erlene, everyone's telling me you got to go to Kripalu. And usually, and the whole thing with Kripalu, it's about self-care and like respite. But I was so busy on the road giving talks on mental health, well-being, and resilience, I wasn't taking my own advice. So Kathy's like, we're going to go and you're going to pick the session. So I'm looking through and it's like metaphysical journey and like collective consciousness. And it's like all of the psychology, spiritual stuff that we like love to do every single day. And then I come to Improv Your Life, comedy, Katie Goodman. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do something fun. And here we were, we showed up. And, you know, like any moment in life, there's so many lemons. I was going through the lemons of a divorce and just all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I need some levity. And, you know, and we jumped in and it was just the best adventure of our life. And I think it was like one of those things where people think you either have to be serious or you have to be like have fun and be funny. And I think one thing I love about you, Katie, is you integrate all of that in your spirit, you know? And so, like I said, I slept with your book last night.
Whose book?
It's Kathy's book.
Sorry, that's what I'm saying.
I stole it.
We're sharing you.
Look at it, poor Kathleen.
Oh, that's funny.
And now I'm like sleeping with my grimy IBS hands on your book. Like, what are you doing? Spilling lemon juice all over it. But oh, move over, Mrs. Maisel. Oh, see, what's Jamu? Was that really in there? Someone call me Mrs. Maisel.
I did see that one.
Yeah, so you know, it was just a moment for us. And Katie, I just wanted to kind of relive that with you and with Kathy. But you know, you just have so many great points in terms of how we use improv in our life. So I kind of want your hot COVID take on this. You know, like what are some of the principles of improv that we can use when there's like gallons of lemon juice that we're marinating at every second? We're like ceviche over here. We're like,
Yeah, first of all, I have to say you guys were so funny at the retreat. That was
you remember us?
it was
You
great.
remember the blue wig?
Oh yes, definitely. I have pictures of you that I can forever blackmail you guys with. You know, it's an interesting thing because what I teach are the 8 tools of improv comedy, and it's everything from being present to being flexible. The really important ones are give up all the goals you had for this year. And you know, so in the beginning we were all using like the pandemic pivot was our word until we all were like, I can't say that anymore. So and I think that's, you know, all these tools that I've been studying my whole life as an improviser were really applicable, and I've been teaching them so I understand them, right? Just the way that you guys understand, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy or whatever. So that when you're struggling, you can at least go, crap, I'm catastrophizing or I'm globalizing or whatever. And it's just like, right now it's like, yep, check, like the whole list. So, you know, I think what was interesting for me to have like a trauma, and there's been some traumas, you know, with deaths or whatever in my life before. So it wasn't the first time, but this was so outside of anybody's experience. So I did find, and it kind of was like horribly validating that all these tools were actually helping me. So the very first couple of months, I was like actually euphoric because I was like helping people, and I was like, I know how to pivot. I am flexible. And I'm really present. And like, I also knew one of the things that's really important to me is to kind of have a lot of meaning and purpose. And I had to get my family out of New York. We moved out west because we run a camp. And so we were like, we have to get there, you know, with our toilet paper in the car. And because we knew we had to get there by summer, and we were like, they're locking down New York, we thought at the time. So all these things that were just like, drop everything you're expecting and whoop, you know, 180, not 360, but what, like totally different. And it all really worked. But but it was also, staggeringly difficult too at the same time. So that isn't to say like, you know, you learn these tools and then you don't have any problems. It's
Yeah.
just that you have freaking tools as opposed to not having tools, right? So
Yeah.
that was kind of fascinating. And I was able to help people and able to help me and my family, and then also completely fall apart at times. Like, I don't want to use these tools. I just want everything to go back to normal. So kind of, you know, doubling down on meditation and watching my thoughts and watching my mind and being extra mindful. And here we are. And I mean, I think what's crazy is when you one of the things that I try to teach with the improv, and the reason we make it fun, is because, like you guys saw, the minute you try something you've either never tried before or you do something in a really playful way, it's much easier to learn it than like, okay, let's have the most difficult conversation with our spouse or our mother trying these new tools. You don't do that. You're like, I'm going to try it with the mailman, you know, or the, you know, something lighter, L-I-T, lighter. And then once you kind of master these tools or get more comfortable with them, like how do I trust myself more? How do I gag my inner critic is something we talked a lot about, and turn it into like a coach with neutral language that's actually helpful. So I try that in like an easy setting. And then when the shit hits the fan, then it's like, oh, hey, I actually learned it and can use it now in a more difficult setting. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and trying to help support people that way.
You do it in such a remarkable way as a true artist that you are. And I think the thing that impacts me in the learning process with this is like how much, like when you say tools, like how many intersections there are with evidence-based therapy. So Kathy, like what, like, you know, thinking about like, you know, mindfulness, like being in the moment, right? But how have you found like the tools helpful for you? Because you have a high octane job with a lot of trauma. And I know today was a hard day.
Today was a very hard day. Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're here. But I just want to hear like from you, like, where do you see the intersections of these tools? You know, how do they kind of relate to yourself as a professional and as a person?
You talking about improv tools or just self-care?
Yeah. I think the intersections of both, really.
Yeah. I know, like, one of the things that I can't say improv per se, but I definitely use comedy, like when I'm working with kids, and particularly when, you know, when they're stuck, maybe they're, you know, thinking about negative things over and over again, especially if they're stuck on something that they can't change. You know, it's really not helpful to just ruminate about it. So sometimes, you know, I just break out my joke books and I just keep, because I'm not you know, like the biggest comedian around, but you know, so I have the help of joke books, and you know, I'll just keep reading different jokes, and I have like different style jokes, you know, so there's knock jokes, and there's other different types of jokes where and I just like shift around until I find something that resonates with that child, and then kind of, you know, when I start seeing a smile coming out of them, it's like, okay, I think I've, you know, knocked their brain off that path a little bit, because you know, I do think one of the things that's really true about COVID right now is, you know, that I think is extremely important to be aware of, you know, is that there's so much negative news out there, and our brains really are kind of like CDs, you know, you can write on them, and you know, negative patterns can really get burned in there. And so you can't keep your brain on those things too long. You really have to watch the information that you're consuming. And so, you know, just taking a break from news, from all the social media stuff that's out there, all the drama, you know, and just do something fun or funny, and connect with people, you know, and doing things like this. This is very therapeutic for me tonight, by the way. Okay. So
I'm gonna send you a signed lemon and some lemon juice.
I'd love to hear too, just like what you guys think about this. But I mean, just as a comedian my whole life, I feel like one of the things about comedy is that it, by nature, it forces you to step back, right? Because you're not in it, you're commenting on it essentially, right? So it makes you get out of the moment in a good way. I don't mean unpresent, but I mean, it makes you look at it from over here to comment on it.
Yeah.
What's happening.
I love how you put that. It kind of makes me think about humor as critical thinking, you know, like a tool, like you said, you take that step back and you analyze things from a different lens. And I
Right.
think that can, you know, I really liked what you said before about too, it's not the Pollyanna, the toxic positivity, but it's about being able to, Kathy talks about this a lot in her work, toggling. So that's the whole idea with the lemon juice is like, you got to freaking spit that out sometimes. You can't just, you know, and like, it's tough because it might only be for a little bit, but that little bit of time when you're like finding your respite, brain science shows, like we can then create a more, what they call a positive emotion repertoire, you know, and we can
Right.
build off of that and build momentum. And it doesn't mean we have to be Pollyanna or motivated all the time, or we can't be deeply traumatized, but we can also use these tools as healing.
Right.
Right. And it's important because we're in a chronic stress situation right now. So we do have to toggle off that stress response off.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, you know, we can do that with meditation. We can do that with breathing. We can do that with comedy. You know, we can do that with just connecting with loved ones, going outside and taking a walk, all those things that are really, you know, really helpful to just shut that sympathetic stress response off. And
Yeah.
it helps the body be more resilient also, so that,
Yeah.
you know, because you know, stress is okay, right? It's something that's an important part of life, but we don't
Mhm.
want it to be on all the time, right? You know, like you got your foot on the gas and you're driving all around town with your foot on the gas all the, you know, you gotta put the brakes on at
Yeah.
some point. So are you gonna
Well
burn
said.
yourself out? Yeah.
Mhm. And I think it's like giving ourselves permission to do that, because I think it does feel like, you know, almost like irreverent, like to be playful, like it almost, when things feel so heavy and so grave and so dire and we're heartbroken, it can feel counterintuitive to be playful. But yet there's just, again, like a lot of science that shows like how important that is, you know, that rewiring and the brain plasticity, we can remaneuver that. And it's really vital to our survival right now, and to our ability to flourish as people. We're getting so serious right now. We all have the therapist days. We're like, whoa.
Well, this is-
All right, it's getting to be that time.
All right. Well, I think I'll put the dark glasses on because Kathy is like the sleep evangelist. So she's going to
Yeah.
tell you all, turn down your lighting, even though we worked hard at our makeup. Do I have any kale in my teeth? See?
No kale.
Any lipstick? I don't usually wear a lot of lipstick these days. Who needs it under
But
the
you got to
mask?
protect your
Like,
eyes.
you never
now.
put anything on your face. You go out there and you're like, your nose can be dripping. Nobody knows. You're like, but you know, I is there any, before we move into our next step, we're going to actually do some Q&A with the audience. We'll do that next. So audience, we're going to, there's a Q&A button, there's a chat. So fire away at us. Let me see. I'm like trying to get my scroll over here. Okay, can we find an answer regarding lemonade? I don't know what
What does that mean? Please rephrase the question.
All right, we'll leave that as an open question. I don't know. I mean, just try, everyone actually try this with me right now. Try to pucker, like you just suck the lemon, and then try to laugh at the same time. Laugh. You can't pucker, right? I think we just have a new scientific breakthrough on cracking up tonight. And I know someone out there will disprove my wild theory, but I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so questions from panelists. Anybody out, panelists, from participants, anybody have any questions for Katie, Kathy? Anything that you guys want to ask us? Everything's on the table. And actually, you know what? I was going to bring Ying up. So Ying is one of my best friends. She's a psychiatrist. Like, you guys do the math. Why are all my best friends psychiatrists and therapists and comedians? All right, so Ying is here and she asked, thank you, I love you. What are some coping skills and tools that you realized during COVID that actually totally does not work? Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Work.
Who wants to take that one first?
What are the, say that again? What is the?
What are some of the
Coping strategy
skills
that does not work during
Yeah,
COVID?
and tools during COVID that don't work?
Oh, pretending everything's fine.
It's all fine. Things are going to be normal though, Katie. They're going to be normal really soon.
Yeah, actually, I think that like trying to lock down the date when it's all going to be okay, because that keeps
Yeah.
moving and then you
Yeah.
get disappointed.
That's
Like
a
I kind of try to keep making my kid feel like it's all going to be fine by this time, you know, and I'm lying because I don't know. I
yeah.
mean, and it's wrong. Like that has not actually worked out.
Yeah. And,
love that.
so I can say like something that I just can't do, right? Like I have a group of 10 women that I hang out with, and you know, it's just really great to commune and be together, and we just can't do that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and so this, so you know, we at one point we said, well, I don't know, you know, maybe we should get on Zoom together.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not with this group, because when we're in person, everybody's all talking over each other like this, and I'm like, you have to talk one at a time on Zoom. So there's no way you get 10 very talkative women together on Zoom. That's not going to work.
It's a social experiment, right?
Yes.
All right, we got a contrasting question here from Evangeline. I love it. It says, what do we suggest with friends who are very negative? So again, thinking of that continuum, we've got maybe the toxic positive friends and then the toxic negativity. So what do you guys think about that?
I have a feeling about that. I mean, it's very much like improv. If something's going wrong in a game or a scene or artistically in anything, something's going wrong, is to redirect focus. So with people who are being just constantly negative all the time, like obviously listen, be present and listen. Yeah. But at some point, you know, squirrel, right? Like, so like trying to bring their, and I don't even mean like, let's all sit and name the 10 things that are working, you know, like that could work for somebody, or your friend could hate you and never speak to you again for that. So like, don't fight the negativity with the Pollyanna. That's, I think, what you were saying before about it being toxic. Yeah. But if you can, like I have found with my clients too, just getting them back on something they can picture, something they do like talking about. And it's always a little bit sneaky, true. Like, tell me again about that thing you just did that you loved yesterday, you know? So it helps get them back into picturing a future. It's kind of like this other question we had earlier. Can you play these games with costumes about the future? So like envisioning what you do want, envisioning what your future could be.
Yeah, I love that.
I generally, you know, I like the whole be present thing, right? So I pretty much like will reflect back to them what I'm hearing, and then oftentimes I'll challenge someone, you know, or encourage someone and say, you know, so what's one thing that you could do to take a step in a direction that helps you feel better? And I do that a lot with my staff, actually, because you know, it's a really difficult time right now to work, because for I do work in a school department, and so with all this you know, virtual stuff, teachers can't reach their students, and you know, there's a lot of like frustration among teachers and stuff like that. So so you know, I hear them out, I tell them, you know, I let them know I understand how they feel, and then I encourage them to take one step. You know, I do a lot of like, how do you feel on a scale from 0 to 10? You know, so okay, you're at a 6, so how come you're not at a 4? Right? And if you're at a 6, what's one thing you could do to get yourself to a 7?
I love it.
You know, and then you know, it gets people thinking about the positives and what.
Well, and that's like the micro steps, right? It's just you only can spit that lemon juice out for 1 second, but like, and then where do you build, you know, and then you feel that relief, and then you build off of that. And I think just those small things, not to sound trite, they can make a big difference.
And I think people just need to feel heard.
They need to be validated. And that's the thing. At the end of the show, I'm going to post some show notes in the chat box. And there's some resources from Active Minds that talk about a VAR tool of communication, because I'm noticing a lot of questions coming around how do we communicate effectively, and you know, and whatnot. So I think this could be like the resource sheet we're going to give at the end could be helpful. But with that, I would like us to just do some COVID mantras to help us close off. And then we're all going to get on camera. Anyone that wants to get on with us, we're going to do a little ending dance, and then we're going to hang out and just talk a little bit more. So, and that's in theory if Zoom doesn't kick us all out. I'm like, did I set it right? So just there is a disclaimer. But let's get on to our mantras. We're gonna give you guys some offbeat mantras to maybe help you with your micro strategies and your pivots and your lemon spitting out and your cracking up so you don't crack up. So Katie, will you take it away for us?
Okay. Number 6, we're going backwards, right?
Yeah.
I am good enough. I am smart enough. And I only said 2 dumb things while unmuted on Zoom today.
I don't see anything to read.
Oh, I'll send you.
You want me to just keep going?
Yep, keep
Sure.
going.
Yep.
The kids are going to be all right so long as they don't find my stash of Lindt chocolates and Cabernet. Number 4, at least no one can call me a special snowflake anymore. I mean, number 3, this is my personal one. No matter how bad I have it, at least I'm not scared of Jewish space lasers. Number 2, I give myself permission to crack up so I don't crack up. And number 1, when life is bananas, make banana bread.
All right, so we're going to invite everyone to come on camera that wants to. We're going to do our little ending dance. Katie and Kathy, I can't thank you enough, and for everyone that's participated, but hang around because we're going to swap banana bread recipes and talk a little bit more on strategies. Here we go.
We've got string beans and onions and big juicy lemons and all kinds of fruit and say. We've got an old-fashioned tomato